Hey everyone, it's Ashley, and I just wanted to jump on real quick and share with you some of my favorite tips for helping your teenager and your tween be nice, normal, and a good human being. Let's do a little disclosure right here. I don't know everything. I just know that our teenagers are going through a lot and that their lives are so complex and that they are facing pressures on all sides. And that type of pressure can be really debilitating for them. And it causes them sometimes to lash out in ways that are hurtful to us. And so we found a few ways to cope with teenagers that are growing, that are dealing with their pressure from school, from sports, from family. Just to be a human in any age is an undertaking, right? And to be a teenager in today's day and age with the social pressures and with their concerns about their future, with their concerns about schoolwork, with their concerns to be like their peers, all the different things that can cause just a little hiccup in their heart, right? Just a little piece of them is like, oh, this is really, really tough. But we found a few things that have helped our kids cope, and it actually, my motivation is it helps me cope, right? If I know that they've been given a couple of tools, they can behave in a different way, and it gives them just an advantage. And so we use a couple different things, just as simple tools to help our kids be in a space where they can be calm, where they can access their own tools and their own thinking patterns, and where they can actually be deliberate and intentional in their choices rather than let the stress overwhelm them and be in a space where they don't feel capable of the tasks before them. And so I have heard from a couple of moms that are like, hey, what are you doing? And I've got to find something for my teenager, because our hearts hurt when they hurt. And so I'm going to recommend a couple of products that help you, but also will help your teenager. And so these are musts in our home, and they've made a complete difference. So, okay, the first one is copaiba soft gels. So here's how I use this one. I use this with all three of my kids. I have kids from age 8 to 15, and all three of my children use copaiba multiple days a week. So copaiba is like just a secret weapon that you can use when you know your kid's brain is not thinking correctly, or when you find that they are just out of sorts and they aren't able to connect with you, they aren't able to have a real conversation, they are a little bit intense. This would be a great tool to turn to. So I think of this one especially with tweens. When they are kind of getting a little bit sassy, they're kind of getting their own ideas, they're kind of just not behaving like they did when they were cute and snuggly and you could just put them on your lap and tickle their frustrations out, right? This is one that you can use just so that they will keep talking with you, and they will keep coming to you, and they will want to be in the same space as you, and it just kind of calms all the edges off. The rough parts of our tweens where they are just that little grumpy sassy bit, this is the antidote to that, okay? And I say antidote as a joke. And we definitely want to look at their feelings and listen and do all the things. But honestly, sometimes as moms, if we can just have a little piece that's like, okay, they've had a copaiba, so I know their brain has had some nutrition, and I know that they're in a space where they can think more clearly and differently, that's when you're going to use copaiba. So I notice with Charlotte, if she has copaiba, she's just more compliant. She's more pliable. She's easier to work with, which makes her a nicer human. So I have her take a copaiba every single night. You can do what works for you. Sometimes I personally will take a copaiba in the midst of stress. If I'm feeling it, then this is a good oil to turn to. And you can definitely do the oil, but we just use the soft gels because it's so easy to do. And I tested this oil for a long time. I had my teenage son, and I just was noticing like just teenage stuff like that, grumpiness. And so what I started doing was I would bribe him, and I would tell him, if you take a copaiba, you can have a Starburst. Now, candy isn't huge in our house, so that was a total treat. But it gave him enough personal experiences with it that now he turns to it on his own, and I don't have to bribe him anymore to try it. So you may need to bring some bribery in, but it totally just, think of like those rough edges, that's what it does. It sands them, it smooths them out, and it makes them more enjoyable. Okay, so that's tip number one. Tip number two is the adaptive system. Okay, so this is 3 parts, and you will want all 3 parts for your family. So the adaptive capsule is a supplement, and it's designed to just help you be relaxed, enhance your mood, be in a space where you can handle everything coming at you. So when I think of this world, I look at it in terms of energy, and there's a lot of energy flowing in this world, right? We've got just lots coming at us, lots of data, lots of information, lots of demands on our own energy, our time, our availability, just everything is coming at us, right? And your teens are experiencing this too. It's not just you, but you're probably listening and thinking, wait, forget about my teen, I need this. Okay, so I take adaptive every single day. And what I am finding is it allows me to be agile. It allows me to take in everything that's coming at me and quickly process what I need to keep and how I want to respond. And I get to choose that. And I don't have to go into instant stress mode or instant patterns that I've used in the past to handle stress, avoidance, that type of thing. What I'm able to do when taking adaptive is really just be my best self, be in a space where I can take in the data information that's coming and deliberately choose how I want to respond. And so simple things that could have caused stress before, I'm finding myself be more even and approach it with clarity and approach it with patience and things like that. So I can tell as I'm mothering if I have not had my adaptive. And think of adaptive and think of being able to adapt to the scenario in front of you, thinking of being agile. If you need that in your life because your life is crazy too, then this would be a good one for you. And so for me, I am often balancing different demands from my children, from taking care of the household, from running my business, from mentoring people, from coaching, from showing up in the world, social media, all those different things can leave somebody feeling really buried and heavy and like they've got a lot to do. And even though my to-do list hasn't changed, my ability to be agile and adjust to what's coming has totally changed from using that capsule. And you can take these, I take one a day, but if you had a particular week that had a lot of moving parts to it and you were feeling the pressures in lots of ways, you could definitely use it multiple times during the day. So this one will be a lifelong thing for me because I'm always encountering new situations and new surroundings and a new need to respond. And so I just need that. It's kind of like somebody's holding my hand and helping me navigate everything that's coming. So think about your teenager. Don't they need that help too? They're navigating so many new scenarios all the time, and we need them to be able to adapt and respond in appropriate ways. And this is what adaptive does. It's great for the brain and has become just a lifelong tool for our household. So this is the foundation every day, but then we use the adaptive oils, and there's 2 ways you can do this. So I love having the blend in the 15 ml bottle. You've got wild orange, lavender, spearmint, copaiba, magnolia, rosemary, neroli, and sweet gum in this particular blend. Very, very calming and relaxing. Great to diffuse in the morning or at night. Anytime your household is feeling that commotion, this is going to be an oil that helps everybody respond. If you have a season where there's lots to do, maybe it's final season for your teenager, or that maybe they are adding their sport back in. It's springtime. So I've got a kid that plays lots of baseball, and so this is something we'll be doing for him proactively because I know he needs to be able to respond to all the stimulus that's coming at him and to respond appropriately, right? There's a difference between a teenage response and an appropriate teenage response, and that's what I'm going for, is that appropriate response. So we'll put this on daily. We will also put it in the diffuser. And then you have the adaptive roller. So this is one to use on the go. So great to put in your car, great to put in your purse as you are traveling throughout the day. Maybe traffic changed, maybe the grocery store was more chaotic than you expected. Maybe you were asked to babysit some extra kids. Maybe your boss gave you a different assignment than you expected and you had prepared for another one. Maybe your cell phone company called and changed your rates, or maybe you are needing to respond to an upsetting email. Like, all these things require us to be agile, to respond. Like, I am thinking of skiing season, right? Even though springtime's coming, my family loves to go snowboarding, and they just go down the mountain, right? They respond to the terrain that is there. If there's a twist and curve needed, they respond and go that direction. If there's a tree in their way, they go a different direction. And that's how adaptive works with our family, right? If something shows up in our path, we can just go around it and go a different direction and handle it rather than stopping for the tantrum, stopping and wasting time, being in a place where we don't feel functional and at our very best selves. Adaptive helps us just calm down, and it maintains the connection with each other too. So one of the patterns that we have in our home is that I put oils on the boys every night, and Charlotte's too sometimes, but what works great is to just have your teenager sit on your bed. They're talking, they're distracted, maybe they're watching sports. It doesn't even matter, but you can give them what they need in that moment. And the power of touch is huge. And so just taking your oil, rubbing it on their feet. I like to sometimes use stones too. That can be fun, but I always include adaptive, and then I'll do 3 or 4 other oils depending on their current needs. Something for immunity, something for sleep, something for confidence, and just blending those in a way that their body feels taken care of. And so this is what's working for us to keep our teenagers connected, to give them just a little bit of support in a world that is challenging for them, and to help build their confidence that they can do it. And so hopefully this is helpful to you, but copaiba is awesome, and the adaptive line, absolutely fantastic for both kids and adults.